Good morning and welcome you all to Day 4 Faculty Development Program on Implementation of National Education Policy 2020 organized by ATMB College of Engineering, Mysuru. I welcome you all to Session 11. Speaker for Session 11 is Dr. S Venkataramu, Professor and Dean Academics, Presidency, University, Bangalore. Sir, on behalf of ATMB College of Engineering and organizing team, I welcome you to this event. Before we start on with the session, I call upon Mrs. Jyoti M. Patil, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, to introduce our speaker.
Thank you, ma'am. It's my privilege to introduce our resource person of the session, Professor P.S. Venkataramu. Sir's key deliverables are developing outcome-based education system and implementation, developing and deploying the quality assurance system, preparing institution for national, international, and industry accreditations and ranking, mentoring faculty members for proper delivery of lectures and practical sessions based on pedagogical norms and as required by the outcome-based education, assessment and accreditations of an educational institution for its quality deliverables, training faculty members for an internal academic auditing, students mentoring, motivating faculty members and students for research-based learning, efficient academic administration, a dedicated professor in the area of electrical engineering. He completed his MTech and PhD from NIE Mysore. He has undergone 1 year pedagogical training at Advanced Training Institute, Chennai. He started his career in the year 1980 to 1983 as electrical instructor at CSIVC Tumkuru. From the year 1983 to 1997, electrical engineer at Electricity Department, Goa. As an electrical engineer, he have worked on various projects from conceptual stage to commissioning stage. From the year 1997 to 2000, he has served as assistant professor at Vellore Engineering College, Vellore. From 2000 to 2002, he have worked as associate professor at VIT University, Vellore, and from 2002 to 2007 as a professor, head, and dean academics at VIT University. He has served as a key member of the university for various committees and actively contributed towards ISO, NBA, NAC, IEI, IET, UK, and ABET accreditations. From the year 2007 to 2015, as a professor and principal at Ghana Ghana Institute of Technology and Management, Bhopal. He served as a founder principal, developed the institute as one of the best institute in the state and worked towards NBA accreditations of all the group institutions. From the year 2015 to 2018, he worked as a Dean Internal Quality and Staff Development, Reva University, Bangalore. Sir established the quality system for course planning, delivery based on outcome-based education system and trained about 380 faculty members on OBE. Currently, sir is working as a Dean Academics, Presidency University, Bangalore, NAC Assessor. We are glad to have you, sir. I'll hand over the session to you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much for your detailed introduction. Hope I am audible to all of you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
And my slide is visible, right?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay. Good morning, participants. I'm extremely thankful to the organizers for providing me an opportunity to interact with you in the area of how NEP focuses on enhancing the outcome-based education. Let me give you a brief introduction. See, any policy document to that matter can be viewed from different angles based on their own specialization, based on their own philosophy, based on their own attachment. They view the policy and they take a decision and they say that this policy is good or policy is not good or policy is lagging and so on. For example, if you take this NEP 2020, for last 1.5 years, we have been listening to this. We have been attending to workshop. We have been listening to some of the critics. if you say the people who are in favor of the policy, they wear the lens and they look and everything looks green to them, they say policy is very good. And the people who fall under the category of opposing the policy, they wear that lens and they look only through those glasses and they look at it. Every section of the policy looks to be disadvantageous to them. But what I am trying to do is, I am looking at this policy through outcome-based education lens. That is most important. See, the outcome-based education was there, is here, will continue, irrespective of NEP policy or not. But what we need to look is, we need to educate, we need to motivate, and we need to inculcate among our faculty members and students the need for implementing the outcome-based education. So that is my primary focus. But how does this NEP document focuses on outcome is only to strengthen the argument of outcome-based education. So NEP policy, what I am looking at next another 1.5 hours or 2 hours, is not exactly NEP policy, it is exactly into the outcome-based education concept. But I try to look those concepts by looking at the scope that is there in the NEP. I just remember a story. A person had to write an essay on a cow, but in the examination, the essay topic was changed as an electric pole. So this fellow was brilliant. What he did, he wrote a heading, essay on electric pole. A cow was tied to an electric pole. Then he wrote everything about cow. That's what precisely I will be doing. I'll just take NEP, but what I will be talking more is towards outcome-based education. But at the same time, it is not completely irrelevant to the NEP. It also has some role. So this is what the background of my lecture. Now, since it is an outcome-based education concepts through NEP, there must be certain outcomes expected out of this session. If my session is successful and if you people are alert enough to listen to me, this is the outcome that I expect from all the participants. Explain the basic philosophy of NEP with regards to students' outcome. This is one outcome that I'm expecting from you people. Mention various contexts in which outcomes are considered in the national education policy. Sorry, P is missing there. Then distinguish between the content-based education and outcome-based education. From my third outcome onwards, I will be deviating towards outcome-based education. Of course, with context to NEP. Appreciate the need for implementing the outcome-based education. Analyze various components of outcome-based education and explain the process of development of course outcomes. This is what precisely I have said as the outcomes of this session. Now, if I had to achieve this outcome, I need a vehicle. The vehicle is the content. What content I will be using? I'll be giving few introductory topics. I'll be talking something about the professional education and how the teaching learning should be. I'll give you a brief overview of NEP and what are the focus points with respect to OBE. What is the basis for outcome-based education? What is an OBE in nutshell? What are the various components of OBE? How do we formulate and analyze the OBE components? And how do we set the course outcomes? And of course, 5 to 10 minutes question answer session and then the conclusion. These are my contents. A brief introduction, assuming that some of the faculty members are new to their profession. As faculty member, we should be very proud that we are into this noble task. We faculty members, we are not doing any business here. And we are not doing this job for the sake of livelihood. And we are not just doing the process of awarding some degree to the student. What we are doing is a great worship. Please think for a while. However low profile teacher you are, however unrecognized teacher you are, but still 10 to 11, if you have a class and if you go to your section and you stand on the dais, next 1 hour, you will be completely concentrating on the content that you are delivering and the students who are sitting in front of you. You may have numerous problems in your family, with your colleagues, with finances, but all those things will not come to your mind during that lecture period. Is it not a worship that we are doing? You don't have to go to Himalayas to do worship. Every teacher during their lectures, 1 hour, 50 minutes, they are worshipping because they are completely concentrated on their lecture. If a minute, if a second, if their mind goes diverted, then you will feel the experience, your link will be lost. So as a teacher, we are worshipping. That is the type of job that we are doing. And we are transforming the people, we are transforming the society, we are transforming the country, the whole world. You would have observed it. If there is anything good happening in the society, it is because of the contribution of the teachers. Anything bad is happening in the society, it is because of the teacher. Because right from childhood, the entire humanity is transformed by the teachers. This is the gigantic task we faculty members have got it. Maybe you are a school teacher, maybe you are a nursery teacher, maybe you are an undergraduate teacher, maybe you are a postgraduate teacher, maybe you are a research teacher. But as a teacher, this is what you are going to do. We worship, we transform people, thereby we transform society, country, world. No matter how many education policies comes into existence, if we teacher don't take it to heart, then none of these policies can be implemented. So, being a teacher, whether you like it or you don't like it, you have come into this profession. Hats off to those people who have come with passion. But at the same time, there are certain compulsion for some of us to come to teaching profession. But having come to this profession, you should be loyal to this profession. The teachers' appointment and deploying, look at it. How do we appoint teachers? How do we deploy teachers? What kind of focus we give to the teacher? What kind of pedagogical training we give to the teacher? See, these are all the aspects that a policy did not develop. If you look at the NEP, there is a separate section called teachers' education. Do we need it? We don't need a policy. Over a period of time, this has been happening. But policy is required because nowadays people are slowly missing. Look at the higher education system. If you want to become a primary school teacher, you need a teacher's training is a must. If you want to become a high school teacher, you need a B.Ed or M.Ed is a must. But if you want to become a professional education teacher, maybe engineering college or a medical college or a law college or a commerce college or a MBA college, you don't need any knowledge of pedagogy. How is it? Do we need a policy to tell a simple concept that a person who goes for driving profession should know the driving? Do we follow that? Are we giving pedagogical knowledge to our teachers? See, these are all some of the aspects that we need to think. When it comes to professional teaching is a competency-based teaching. We need to impart knowledge as well as skill. A person who is an engineer himself can alone produce another engineer. Very simple, common sense it is. If you are a business administrator, then only you can produce another business administrator. If you are an HR expert, then only you can produce another HR expert. Like this, every professional teacher should question themselves, are we this first? If I am not an engineer, then I have absolutely no right to produce another engineer. My dear faculty members, please question yourself. Are you an expert in that profession? Because you are educating, you are training an electrical engineer, you are training a mechanical engineer, you are training a computer engineer. Are you an engineer yourself first? Please think. Unless these concepts are made very clear, then it is not possible for any teacher to produce another person where the teacher himself or herself is not aware of it. Now, with this brief background, let us come to this NEP. There are so many educational policies. Every 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, we get one policy. But this policy, what way it is little different from other policies. We will not be going in depth because it's a huge document and it is not required for us because our entire focus is on looking at NEP from the OBE lens, recognizing, identifying and fostering the unique capabilities of each student. Look at it. This is one of the fundamental principle of this policy. And this is not new for us. If you go to our ancient Gurukula system, this was done there. Dronacharya, when he taught Bhima, he did not teach him the archery. He knew that Bhima's capabilities in Gada, Arjuna's capability in archery. Look at it. Recognizing, identifying, fostering the unique capabilities of each student. Excellent it is. Yes, this if you need to achieve, it is possible only through outcome concepts. I'll come to that, how we can achieve it. Flexibility and no hard separation. Look at our education system as of now. You have to study this subject. You have to study this subject. Neither the teacher nor the student is aware why am I studying this subject. In many of the training program, I have interacted with many faculty members. Generally, I go all over the country to deliver lecture on OBE. Most of the teachers, they say, Madam, why are you teaching this course? Sir, it is there in the syllabus, sir, I am teaching. Look at it. The teachers are not very clear, the students are not clear, and we are regimenting. And this generation is one which don't like any regimentation. They want as flexibility as possible. Multidisciplinary and holistic education. Look at it. We produce an excellent engineer, but he doesn't have any idea about our society. He doesn't know about our culture. He doesn't know anything about our language and communication. How can he function as an engineer? Because any professional has to perform his function within the society, within a group of people. So he needs to have multidisciplinary knowledge with respect to human values, with respect to ethics, with respect to sociological norms. How is it possible? Yes, you have to focus on outcomes, not on contents. Emphasis on conceptual learning, conceptual understanding. I have highlighted in red color, which has more focus on OBE. Creativity and critical thinking. This is what the fundamental policy says, principle of a policy, NEP policy. How do you develop this creativity and critical thinking with respect to the course that you are teaching? See, when you take education policy, when you take any program, ultimately it boils down to a teacher and a course and a student. No matter what degree you give, but the degree is because of some of the course that you have taught. With respect to that course, can you develop this critical thinking is the question. Ethics and human and constitutional values. Most of our professionals have no knowledge about what is the provision of the Constitution with respect to that profession. Take, for example, since I'm coming from an electrical engineering background, I'll be giving few examples of electrical engineering. I am an electrical engineer and I pass out from a very good institution. I know everything about electrical fundamental principles, application of electrical engineering rules, all those things. But do I know there is an Indian Electricity Act, there is an Indian electricity rule which I am supposed to follow? Same thing applies to every professional. We don't have any knowledge about our constitutional values with respect to the profession, at least, if not in general. Life skills such as communication, cooperation, teamwork, and resilience. Look at it. These are the activities which are to be developed with respect to a particular profession, and it doesn't come from a content or a textbook. Focus on regular formative assessment for learning. This is exactly what OBE emphasizes. It should not be a term and examination. It should not be a strict regimentation in the examination process. When I come to OBE principles, you will be able to correlate all these fundamental principles, what NEP says and what OBE demands. Respect for diversity and respect for the local context. Look at it. This is beautiful policy principle. Now we have to digest it. How do we implement these things? And that's where the OBE concepts helps us to know what is the diversity, what is the local context, how do we address this local context with respect to a particular course that I am teaching. All this will get clear when once you implement the outcome-based education concept. Synergy in curriculum across all levels of education. I'll just give you an example. This is a beautiful fundamental principle. Unfortunately, very less people have realized and understood this. When I talk about an outcome of a graduate, that outcome of graduate does not come only from the graduate education. Graduate education only flourished that outcome which was developed at school level. Take an example. Identification of a problem. There is one outcome. Those who are familiar with the Washington Accord program outcomes and all, there is one outcome called an ability to identify, formulate, solve engineering problem. This outcome, if it has to come right from the school level. So there must be a synergy. What outcomes are developed in the school level, no matter what content they use, and what outcome we need to flourish in the higher education. This is a beautiful concept which NEP takes it as a fundamental principle. Of course, there are so many other, I'll not be able to touch those things. I will focus only on those red one. Now, NEP also talks something about vision. What is the vision? An education system rooted in Indian ethos. This is the one which people have misunderstood. It doesn't mean that Indian ethos means they only talk something about our Puranas, principles, all those things. Maybe they may talk. But as an OBE man, how do I look at it? Take an example. You are teaching a program called BTech in Electrical Engineering to a student who is in Harvard University. You are teaching a BTech Electrical Engineering program to a student registered in one of the Indian universities. And you look at the program outcome for Harvard University student as well as Indian University student, the program outcome is same. Take an example of one program outcome, an ability to identify, formulate, solve engineering problem. And Harvard University student, by virtue of his cultural background, by virtue of his ethical background, by virtue of his social background, he has a different method of identifying a problem. If that method of identifying a problem, if I teach to an Indian student, it will be a total confusion for the student because his background is different, his ethics are different, his history is different, his sociological background is different. So many times it so happened when we are teaching to our student, we tell some high level principle, they will not able to understand. And when you give a simple example which they normally use in the rural area, then immediately they will catch, oh, this is what you are telling, sir, I understood, this we are doing every day. Look at it. This is how we have to look this vision. An education system rooted in Indian ethos. it should not be looked at in a very narrowed eye. It has to be looked from an outcome point of view, because we are looking NEP into through outcome-based education lens. The curriculum and pedagogy of our institution and so on. See, look at the last sentence. And a conscious awareness of one's roles and responsibilities in the changing world. How an administrator was reacting 10 years back for a given problem, how a business administrator reacts now for a given problem. This is most important. Maybe the same textbook you're using, maybe the same professor is teaching the subject, maybe your outcomes are same, but yet my roles and responsibilities as a professional has to adapt to have what is the happening around the world. So this is one important aspect. If this policy is to be implemented, it is only possible if the OBE concepts are implemented. Another vision, to develop skills, values that support responsible commitment to human rights, sustainable development. Look at these terminologies. They don't focus on any profession. They focus in such a way that every professional should have it, whether you are an engineer or a lawyer or an administrator or a doctor. You must know what are the human rights. You must know what is sustainable development. You must know what is global well-being. I'll come to the definition of an engineering profession in 2 slides later on. It exactly says the same thing. In fact, that was developed by an agency called ABET, Accreditation Board of Engineering and Technology. It's a US-based agency. It talks of the same language. Now, with these fundamental policies and with this vision, it proposes certain changes. I'm not looking into all the changes. There are many changes. I'm highlighting only such changes which are relevant to OBE. Moving towards multidisciplinary universities and college with more higher education institute across. Gone are the days, I am electrical engineer, I am mechanical engineer, I am an engineer, I am a business administrator, I am a doctor, I am a lawyer. No. Go to rural areas. You find out people will have some skills. That skill will help him to convert himself into a carpenter, convert himself into a mason, convert himself into a driver. What they have is a basic skill. They can adopt into different. I still remember, I'll just quote an instance. When I was in Bhopal, there was a place called Bairaghat. Morning when I used to pass through that area, I used to find about 300, 400 people. They were like laborers. They were waiting there. And between 7 to 9, I see the crowd. By 9 o'clock, everybody is vanished. Then evening around 5:36, they used to assemble there. I asked my driver. The driver is from a local Bhopal. Hey, Prakash, ye kya ho raha hai? Why these people every day I find here? He said, sir, these are all the laborers, sir. They come here and based on that wage they get, they go and they perform the work and come. I interacted with few of them. They were all from Bihar and Jharkhand. They said, I asked them what work you can do. He said, well, what do you want? I said, I want my door has to be replaced. Okay, I will do it. The same fellow, I said, my fan is not working. Fan is to be replaced. Yes, he can do. Look at it. They're all multidisciplinary people. What they have is a fundamental skill of adapting to any discipline. This is exactly what our outcome-based education says. Develop such outcomes in the student, no matter what content you teach. This is what NEP is looking at. Moving towards a more multidisciplinary education. Yes, this is what exactly we want. An engineer should know a little bit of law, lawyer should know a little bit of engineering, a doctor should know a little bit of cooking. This is what they are focusing. Moving towards faculty and institutional autonomy. This is most important, which is a must for perfect implementation of OBE. Nowadays, the faculty members don't have autonomy. Leaving aside some of the autonomous institutions or universities, even there, they don't know the autonomy and they don't exercise the autonomy. I've been into many of these upcoming universities. They were blaming the affiliating colleges when they were affiliated, but when they become university, they also prepare the same syllabus as the other universities. But till yesterday, you were blaming that syllabus and now you are adopting the same syllabus. So many faculty and many institutions, though autonomy is granted, they don't know how to use it. Outcome-based education concept teaches them, guides them, and directs them towards implementation of this autonomy. Revamping curriculum, pedagogy, assessment, and student support. Yes, when you look the entire curriculum structure, now what we are following is a content-based education. If it has to be transformed completely into outcome-based education, all this revamping has to be done. Governance of higher education institution by independent boards having academic and administrative autonomy. This is most important. A person who is administrating, a person who is regulating should have a fair knowledge or a thorough knowledge of concepts of OBE and concept of academic flexibility. Then only it is possible. Increased access, equity, and inclusion. Yes, we need to. We need to include every section of the society, every section of the teaching community, and we have to develop a curriculum in such a way that which is not compartmentalized, which should be quite open. They aim at installing so many multidisciplinary institutions. Yes, all these multidisciplinary institutions have to invariably adopt the outcome-based education concept. The overall higher education sector will aim to be an integrated higher education system, including professional and vocational education. Yes, gone are the days that I am a history professor, I don't know any of the vocation. I am an economics professor, I don't know how to connect my fan. Every professional, every educated person should have some of the flair idea about vocational education. Now, if you look at NEP, I have not looked into only a higher education section. I have looked from section 4 to 23. If you look at this, I have extracted some of the subsections which focuses on outcome-based education. Some are repetitive, even in the policy also it is repetitive. I understand why they have repeated, because when the context comes, you cannot give a reference, you go to page number 21 and refer it. So for the sake of continuity, they have repeated it, it's all right. Holistic and multidisciplinary approach, yes. Optimal learning environments and support for students, this is most important. How do you give optimal learning environment to a student? I was just listening to the earlier speaker. The professor was explaining so beautifully. 1 hour of teaching hour from a teacher should make the student to work independently another 1 hour. In fact, I go one step ahead. If optimal learning has to take place, gradually the teacher contact should be reduced and student involvement should be increased. Because you have to understand, my dear friends, the learning styles of the student have changed drastically nowadays. The student don't want the teacher should teach everything to them. The student want the teacher should expose to them and allow the students to learn themselves. That is an optimal learning environment. Take an example. All of you would have observed it. You purchase one smartphone, before you explore the options available in your smartphone, your son or daughter who is much less educated than you, much experienced than you, will explore it and he will teach you. I'm sure everybody would have observed this. Why? Because the students' learning style has changed. They want learning to be their own business, not somebody else's business. They don't like we teaching them, you do like this. They say, you tell me what I'm supposed to do. Leave it to me. How do I do it? This is exactly the focus of NEP. Such an environment has to be developed to the students. Internationalization. This is exactly how the OBE concepts came, Washington Accord system came. Internalization, if you want to make your education system, it is the OBE alone which can make internationalization. Students' activity and participation. I have already explained in case of optimal learning. Look at this fifth point. Recognizing, identifying, fostering unique capabilities of each student. This is where if you have certain outcomes for your program, there may be section of students who are good in achieving certain outcomes. Some students are good in achieving certain outcomes. You should not force everybody to attain every outcome. Recognizing, identifying, fostering unique capabilities of student. This can be done only through outcome-based education. No hard separation between sciences. You should not differentiate with respect to content. You should only focus and unite them with respect to outcomes. No matter how an outcome comes, whether through science education or arts education or engineering education or philosophy education or sports, as long as that outcome is achieved, he becomes a competent and educated person. Gone are the days that only engineers should study this, only scientists should study this. No. Of course, again, multidisciplinary, holistic, already we have dealt. Flexibility, so that the learners are able to choose their learning trajectories and programs. See, beautiful it is. I have an outcome to achieve. I find that this outcome better I achieve through economics, not through history. Absolutely no problem. The student should have that flexibility. Because the basic concept of outcome-based education is developing of an outcome not through the media, whether you can develop through this, develop through this, develop through this. When such a concept is introduced, the students will get a lot of flexibilities. This is exactly what even the industry and society wants. Society don't want an engineer who knows only engineering. No. Society wants an engineer who knows little bit of all other things also. So this is another NEP section which focuses, and it can be implemented only through outcome-based education. Emphasis on conceptual understanding rather than rote learning and learning for examination. The evaluation system has to be completely revamped if this has to be achieved. And revamping is accepted by everybody. But how do we revamp? OBE gives you direction how to revamp your examination system. Critical thinking and decision making. This is most important. When I interacted with many of the employers who generally take students, maybe commerce students, engineering student, anybody, an employer in general, they say, sir, the basic problem with some of your students are, or majority of your students are, they are incapable of taking a decision. If I give a problem, they find out, they give the solution, they come with a multiple option, and they leave it to me. Sir, you tell me which one should I implement. Whereas employer expects that a student should have an ability to decide. This is what generally, see, whenever we sit for any interactive session, feedback session or anything, we don't generally expect the people to come with a problem. We say, you come with a solution. Problem anybody can pose, but solution only few people can. So decision making ability has to be developed. If you look at the outcome based education concept, there's one beautiful outcome called decision making. Content reduction and more focus on outcome in curriculum design. Beautiful. We are all bogged down by the contents. You ask the teacher, sir, I have completed all my 5 units, sir. Have you completed 4 units? Yes, sir, I have completed 4 units. We're all bothered about the content. I still remember I was doing my master's degree in NIE, Mysore. And that time, the professor used to give the syllabus on the day 1. And one professor, I still remember his name, Professor K. Raghavendra Rao. He gave a syllabus for dynamics of electric machine. It was just 3 sentences. We were all so happy. Oh, this subject is most easy. Only 3 lines are there. Because all other professors, there used to be unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, like that. But he had a different methodology. Only 3 lines. Design, study and analysis of electrical machines. Oh, very simple. When we sat through his class, we came to know every word in his syllabus itself was taking 1 week. So it is not the content that is more important. It is the outcome that has to be generated out of the content. So NEP focuses on that. And OBE emphasizes this. In fact, this is the USB of OBE. You never look at the content, but focus more on outcome. Subsequent slides will indicate you how to do it. Different learning methodologies suiting to outcomes to be developed. Yes, there cannot be only single learning methodology for all the types of outcomes. Focus on continuous progress in outcome achievement, not just in the term and examination. Outcome attainment has to be assessed at very intermittent levels. And setting up of National Assessment Center, this I will leave it. The teachers should be given more autonomy in choosing aspects of pedagogy. You don't tell the teacher this is how you have to teach. You leave it to the teacher. The teacher is the best decision maker with respect to the content, with respect to the delivery, because the teacher is responsible in developing the outcome. Of course, all accreditation system focuses on outcomes. Optimal learning environment, I have already explained. The role of choice-based credit system, it has to be enhanced, and it is possible only through OBE. And this talks about developing a graduate attributes. This is nothing but the basic concept of an outcome. And this talks about how these outcomes are assessed by a higher education council, all those things. Use of technology in respective profession. This is one most important. If you are familiar with outcome-based education, maybe outcome number 10 or 11 or outcome G or H focuses on an ability to use the modern technological tools required for the profession. This is exactly what NEP also focuses. A commerce student goes out of a college without knowing what is a tally software. An engineering student goes out of an engineering college without knowing how to use the MATLAB. Now, with this background, now I'll jump into outcome-based education. All this what I told was about the electric pole. Now I come to the curve which is tied to electric pole. I've been talking for last 15-20 minutes outcome-based education. Now let us go and take a little deep dive into this. What exactly this outcome-based education is all about. See, the society, the industry need of the hour is student with capability, not the marks. They're not bothered whether you are 9 CGPA or 8 CGPA or 7 CGPA. They look at you, what capabilities that you have. In many times you would have experienced many of your students or your children, whoever have gone for placement, if final selection has to take place between two students, one has got 6 CGPA, another one has got 9 CGPA, many times the 6 CGPA is selected because he has got more capabilities than marks. Yes, an ideal situation is one should have both capability as well as marks, but industry is looking more on capabilities, not on marks. Our system should be a capability development system, not the content coverage system. I teach one unit. I have taken 50 lectures. I have completed the syllabus. Fine. But what has happened to the development of some capability in the student? Has he changed? Has his ability with respect to a particular content has changed from one level to another level? No doubt qualification is required. No doubt the knowledge is required. But you should have a competency of applying this knowledge, teaching this knowledge, developing this knowledge in the student. Nowadays, what happens? UGC has mandated that PhD is a must for every teaching professor. Thereby, what happened? We have got so many PhD holders, but the quality of PhD has come down. A PhD, a research publication, a master's degree may all give you the knowledge, but you should have the competency of teaching this knowledge. By virtue of my PhD degree, I may claim that I am an expert in power system. Yes, I know power system, but do I know how to teach power system to the students? That is most important. Unless you develop that competency, no education policy, no outcome-based education concept can help us. Capability evaluation system, not the memorizing ability evaluation system. Look at our evaluation system. We never evaluate the capabilities of a student. We only evaluate how much he can memorize, how much he can remember. In fact, our evaluation system is only trying to know what student don't know. We never evaluate what student knows. There are 3 thermodynamics laws. Poor fellow knows 2 laws and he doesn't know 3rd law. If your question is explain thermodynamics 3rd law, and if he cannot answer, you grade him that he doesn't know anything in thermodynamics. Poor fellow knows everything in thermodynamics except that stupid 1 law. Look at it. Only outcome-based education concept can help us in evaluating the capability of student, not memory ability of a student. So these drawbacks of our system was noticed by the industry and the society, the academicians, employers, everybody. Way back in early 70s and late 70s and early 80s, they come out with a concept. We need to introduce a new concept called outcome-based education and slowly take out the content-based education. That's how the outcome-based education concept started coming. In fact, the ABET, Accreditation Board of Engineering Technology, are the first to give a structure for this outcome-based education. And that time, it was just a voluntary system. Anybody who wants to go for ABET accreditation have to implement the outcome-based education. But slowly and gradually, we started. Washington Accord concept came, where group of countries together joined in Washington and they signed an accord that all the engineering graduates, of course, the concept of OBE initially started for engineering education, slowly it percolated down to all higher education system. This Washington Accord, India was not a permanent signatory till 2016. That's why the OBE concepts were not very popular. 2016, when we became a permanent signatory to this Washington Accord concept, then everybody started talking of OBE. Those faculty members who are familiar with NBA and NAC accreditation prior to 2016, if you search the document, there was not even a single word on outcome-based education. But 2016 onwards, everywhere teaching learning process curriculum design comes, the accreditation bodies look at outcome-based education. So by making mandatory through assessments, the OBE concepts are now not voluntary. It is a mandatory that every one of us have to follow it. And the NEP further reinforces the need for implementing the outcome-based education. This is some history. You may go through this. I don't want to spend time on this. These are the countries, how they started and all. What is this outcome-based education? It is a very simple concept, my dear students. Sorry, my dear friends. Sorry, I'm a teacher. I always consider students. What do you want the student to have or able to do? You have to decide as a teacher, as a department, as an institution, as a university, as a country. What do you want your students are able to do? How can best you help your student to achieve it? We teachers are only facilitators. You will not develop any ability. Already the abilities are existing in the student. You are only facilitating them to achieve it. How do you know that they have achieved it? And if they have achieved, you go ahead with the system. If they have not achieved, do the postmortem and close the loop. This is the basic concept of OBE. A very simple concept. You decide what your student should be able to do. You decide how best you can help the students to achieve it. You know whether they have achieved it or not, and close the loop. But the challenge here is our education system, our teachers, our academic administrators, everybody has to change their focus from content to outcome. This is the basic fundamental change that is required within the system. Then the OBE can be implemented. We have to change our focus from content to outcome. All these days I was looking at the content. Now I have to focus on the outcome. The focus changing of the teacher is not automatic. It has to be through a systematic tools. What are the tools? We should have a standard outcome-based education structure. We should have a pedagogically designed course planning materials, course delivery materials. We should incorporate the Bloom's taxonomy levels in our teaching, learning, and evaluations. The basic OBE structure as provided by ABET, Accreditation Board of Engineering and Technology. The same thing, even the Washington Accord people also have implemented with small changes here and there. It starts, you can have either top to bottom approach or bottom to top approach. It's all an implementation jugglery, but let us try to understand this. You should have a vision mission. There is a wrong concept that vision mission is only for the university or for the country or for the department. No, it is for an individual faculty. As a faculty, I myself as an institution, what is my vision? Why am I teaching power system analysis to the students? What should be my vision? My vision is like this. Next 5 years, at least 20 to 30% of my students whom I teach should become power system experts. Look at it. At least 10% of my students should become power system entrepreneurs. This is how a faculty member has to set the vision. Then mission. If I want 20% of my students to go for power system profession, what all that I should achieve? I should teach like this. I should give this. I should give this. I should do this. These are my mission statement. Please look at it. Don't ever look that vision mission statements are only for an university or for a country or for an organization. An individual faculty, because what is an institution, what is an university, what is a country? It's a constitution of all individuals. So all of us as faculty member should have vision with respect to our own profession. Then comes the program educational objectives. An university decides that this year I will start a new program, master's degree in business administration with supply chain management specialization. Why are you starting that program? What is the objective of starting the program? Is what the program educational objective is. Is it that I want to increase my finance income to my university? That's why I'm starting? No. Educational institution running is not for a profit making. For profit making, there are so many other professions available. Here, I should have an objective. What could be the objective? The society needs professional supply chain management administrators. The supply chain management is one which is coming up everywhere. Aviation management is one which is coming up everywhere. Artificial intelligence and machine learning is one specialization which is coming up everywhere. Cyber security is one which is coming up everywhere. I, as an institution, has a responsibility of producing certain professionals in that emerging area. That is my one objective. If these professionals have to work in that area, they must have a knowledge. Who creates that knowledge? It is the researchers who creates the knowledge. The researchers for last 5 years, what knowledge they have created in cyber security has become a program now. So one more objective of my university to start this new program is to develop certain researchers who can work in that emerging area. Third objective, I need some entrepreneurs to work in that area. Cyber security freelancers, cyber security auditors, these are all the consultants. So this is what a program educational objective is. It's a broad statement telling to the society at large what is the purpose of starting this program in my university. Next comes the program outcomes. Yes, I have an objective of producing so many professionals, so many researchers, so many consultants. How do I do it? Think. Say, for example, your university has admitted 500 computer science and engineering in cyber security. And your objective says that they all should become cyber security experts. They should become researchers. They should become consultants. How do you achieve it? Do you put them in all auditorium and ask your principal or head of the department or vice chancellor to come with a magic wand and tell, go, all of you become experts? No. You have to identify certain capabilities that you need to develop in them so that they become those professionals. So what abilities that you need to develop is your program outcomes. We'll take these points further. Then the last point is your course outcomes. Each course contributes to the program. So every course should have certain outcomes, and these outcomes should be necessarily aligned with your program outcomes. This is how a OBE is structured. Of course, now the Washington Accord and the NBA people have introduced in between PO and CO, there's one more concept called program specific outcomes. I'll just highlight some importance of that also. So if you look at this hierarchy chart, there are some long-term outcomes, there are certain short-term outcomes. Formation of program educational objectives. As I told you, it's a general statement indicating to the public at large the possible occupation of the graduating student after a few years of professional experience. Look at this definition, so beautiful. If you have a business administration program, a graduating student shall become a professional business administrator. This is one objective. A graduating student shall become a researcher in the selected area. Another objective. The graduating student shall become an entrepreneur or a consultant. One is a job provider, one is a knowledge creator, another one is a job maker. These three together flourish the society, flourish the industry. That's what my objective is. This is a general statement. You can fill in. Graduating student shall become a professional mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, computer engineer. So PEO is a general statement. Just remove one profession and you put another profession. Whereas the program outcomes, these are the capabilities to be developed in the students during program period. If your BTech is for 4 years, during the 4 years, what capability that you need to develop? How do you develop those capabilities? Through courses, practicals, case studies, visits, workshops, projects, all the drama that we are doing for in 4 years. All these will help us to develop the capabilities. And these capabilities shall enable the graduating students in occupying the positions as listed in PEO. PEO, if you say that he becomes a professional electrical engineer, you have to develop those abilities so that he becomes a professional electrical engineer. So program outcomes are nothing but the list of abilities to be developed in the student during the program period through the vehicles of course, practical, case study, lectures, blah, 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 so that he achieves the PEO. Some of the program outcome, most of you are familiar with this. Please go through this. Of course, I have taken the fundamental POs as drafted by ABET. Same thing with little modification Washington people and NBA people have given. But this is the original document. If you look at this program outcome, of course, this is for engineering graduates. An ability to apply knowledge of mathematics, science, and engineering. An ability to design and conduct experiments as well as analyze. Look at these things. Each program outcome clearly indicates what ability to be developed in the student. An ability to function on multidisciplinary teams. And so on. There are about 12, 13 program outcomes. Now, let us focus only any one of the program outcome, and I will tell you, I will demonstrate to you how the focus of the teacher has to change from content to outcome. If this program outcomes are well embedded inside the faculty mind, then it will dictate the way in which the faculty has to deliver the content. Please listen this carefully. I am taking one program outcome, that is an ability to identify, formulate, and solve engineering problem. Those faculty members who are from MBA, please change this engineering, write managerial problem. Those faculty members are from commerce and accountancy, remove engineering and write it as accounting problem. Those faculty members are from MCA, BCA, change it as computer application problem. Those faculty members are from law background, change it as legal problems. That's all. The outcome is same. Now I'll demonstrate to you how this outcome should be analyzed by the teacher so that his method of teaching has to be changed compared to content-based education and outcome-based education. Take an example, because I don't know the type of audience that are sitting in my lecture, whether they're all engineering background, commerce background, I don't know. There may be multiple because it is an open webinar. So I will take a simple example which is applicable to every one of you. Again, please listen this carefully. This is a very important. In fact, I'll tell you my entire 2-hour talk. The main thrust is this, what I am going to explain now in 5 minutes. An ability to identify, formulate, and solve engineering problem. Read this outcome carefully. Ability. What ability you need to develop? Identification of a problem, formulation of a problem, solving of a problem. Forget engineering. These are the 3 distinct abilities that we need to develop in the student. Now let us look into, are we developing it? For this, I am taking a simple case study. Assume that you are teaching a 6th standard or 7th standard mathematics. I'm taking this example, the same example, you put it into your own courses and your own teaching methodology, you will realize what mistake we are all committing. A 7th standard mathematical teacher has a content to teach to the student. The content is area of rectangle is a content. Now, this content, without knowing this outcome, if the teacher is teaching this content, teacher will teach what is area of rectangle. Area is equal to length into breadth. What is length? What is breadth? What is the unit of length and breadth? And what is the unit of area? So length is equal to this much, breadth is equal to this much, area is equal to this much. This is what she will be delivering a lecture. Now she wants to give a numerical example to the student. How she gives a numerical example? Of course, the numerical example is nothing but an application of the knowledge. The knowledge what she has given is length, breadth, area, and formula, all those things. Now, her numerical example will be the length of the room is 12 meter, width of the room is 10 meter, find the area. This is how the numerical example is given. Please recollect, my dear friends, this is how the problems was given to you, and this is how you are every day you are giving problem in your own courses. Now, read that numerical example what she has given. Length of the room is 10 meter, width of the room is 12 meter, find the area. Who has identified the problem in this case? It is the teacher who has identified the problem. She has given the data, she has told the student, this is what you are supposed to do. What our student will do? The moment he reads, he recollects area is equal to length into breadth. He substitute 10 and 12. Formulation of problem is over. 10 into 12 is 120 square meter. Solution is over. And he gets 100 out of 100. And we say that he's a qualified person. In the whole scenario, look from the outcome-based education point of view. Has the teacher developed an ability of identifying the problem in the student? No. What teacher has done? She has given the problem and made the student to formulate it and solve it. So, our qualified peoples today are good in formulating the problem, solving the problem, but not knowing anything about identifying the problem. But in society, in profession, in industry, the major challenge is identifying the problem. If you identify the problem, 50% of your problem is solved. Unfortunately, we are not educating our student community in identifying the problem. No, what is the effect of this? I am an electrical engineering student, pass through all my education system by like this. Like this means giving me the problem by somebody, asking me to formulate and solve. I have come to profession now. I've been appointed in some company. The company boss tells me the second generator is not working. You please go and attend. I will go and stand in front of the generator thinking that the generator will tell me what is the problem. Because I don't know that I should identify the problem. What all I know is, if problem is known, I will formulate and solve it. Please think, my dear friends. Now, if the teacher is focused on outcome rather than content, same content she would have delivered in a different way. What is that way? I'll tell you now. The same teacher would have given the numerical example like this. The length of the room is 10 meter, width of the room is 12 meter. Identify what you can find from this data and find it. Look at it now. The student reads the problem. Nowhere in the problem statement it is mentioned what he is supposed to do. He has to identify it. So Ramu will identify that I will find the area. Vasanta will identify that I will find the perimeter. Krishna will identify that I will find the L by B ratio. Anthony will identify that I will find the volume. All the 4 students have identified their own problem from the same data. They have developed the ability of identifying. Ramu solves it. Length is equal to this, width is equal to this, area is this. So he has identified his problem, he has formulated his problem, he has solved his problem. Krishna finds length into 2 plus breadth into 2 is equal to perimeter. Anthony will try to solve volume. He tries to formulate. He comes to know that one more data is missing. So he realizes my identification of the problem is wrong. Then he goes back and re-identifies the problem. My dear friends, please look at it. You are developing an identifying ability. If you don't know formulation, if you don't know solving of a problem, there are textbooks available, but no textbook will teach you how to identify a problem. Please recollect, in any of the profession, the customer comes, the client comes, he will not tell you what is the problem. He says that this is not working. That is a problem for him. He says this is what has happened to me, to a lawyer. This is what he says to a doctor. It is the professional who has to identify the problem. Now, if you focus on outcome-based education, your delivery mode will change. When you ask any problem-solving question, henceforth, don't direct the student to do anything. Allow him to decide what he has to do with the given data. This is one simple demonstration, my dear friends, I have given you how the outcome-based education changes the teaching style. Because for us, content is not important, it is the outcome which is important. In fact, I have no time to go and analyze all the program outcome. This is a one full day workshop actually on a OBE. On some other occasion, if organizers want, I will be able to conduct it. So here my focus is how our teaching methodology has to change if we have to focus on developing certain abilities in the students. There are so many outcomes like this. Many of you are familiar. You can just go through. And this is one demonstration I have done. If you are interested, you can go through and analyze each of the program outcomes so that you get clarity what exactly this content is expected to do with respect to students. Similarly, some of the outcomes I have given for business administration program. Then comes the program specific outcomes. See, these are the subsets of program outcome, and these are very specific to the program offered in the department. This is your USB. The program outcome is same. Ability to identify, formulate, solve engineering problem is same in Harvard University, same in Stanford University, same in IIT, same in Mysore, same in Bangalore, everywhere. But what is so special about your institution, your department? The PSO must depict the specific nature of the program and specialization that your program offers to the student. Anyhow, you have to develop the PO, but this is the true media through which you want to develop this PO is PSO. With examples, it will be clear. For example, you have a PO, ability to identify, formulate, solve problems. Now, same PO, if I convert into PSO with respect to some university, ability to identify, formulate, and solve business problem related to corporate finance. See, the problem identification, formulating, solution ability I am developing. But what kind of problem? Business problem. How do I do it? Through corporate finance. Some other institute may say through HR principle, through mechanical engineering, like that. Another example, ability to use the technique, skills, and modern tools necessary for professional practice. This is one program outcome. Now, how do I convert that into PSO? Ability to apply data analytic technique to analyze and interpret the data. Here in the PO, I don't say what technique. Here I say what. That's why it's called program specific outcome. Similarly, few examples. Identify, formulate engineering problem, solve thermal engineering problem, digital communication problem, and so on. Now we come to the last one in the hierarchy, that is development of course outcomes. Till now you are using the terminology called program, educational objectives, program outcomes, program specific outcomes. These are all common irrespective of the courses that you are teaching. Let me make it very clear. The terminology program refers to the degree that you are offering. Course refers to the subject that you are offering. Many times we use wrongly. Even AICT portal also uses it as a BTech mechanical engineering, a course, he says. It is not a course, it's a program. So these course outcomes are very specific to the teacher, very specific to the course that you are teaching, not to the entire program. This course outcome dictate how the course planning should be, course delivery should be, course monitoring should be, course evaluation should be, course quality enhancement should be. My dear friends, please see that these are most 5 important activities that every teacher is expected to do. Teaching is not just you go and teach something, spend 1.5 hours, you cover the syllabus. No, you need to have course planning, you need to have course delivery, course monitoring, course evaluation, course quality enhancement. In all these 5 stages, your course outcomes dictates you how should you do this. Out of all, again due to shortage of time, I'll just take only the course planning, how the OBE concepts are important in course planning. Course planning has got 2 components, syllabus analysis and course scheduling. What is this syllabus analysis? Every one of you are familiar with the syllabus. If you read the syllabus, it is nothing but some of the terms, topics arranged, sometimes in chronological order, sometimes in some order. Take, for example, mathematics, unit 1, differential equations. Single order differential equation is one topic. Physics, if you take Newton's law, one topic. English, if you take reading of sentence, one topic. See, syllabus has got like that topics. Now, listen carefully. Does this syllabus answers to the following questions? Question number 1. Does your syllabus tells you how deep you should teach this topic? No. Does your syllabus tells you how much time you should spend on this topic? No. It may tell overall 1 unit 10 hours, but a specific topic it doesn't say. Does your syllabus tells you what is the purpose of teaching this topic? No. So the so-called syllabus is acting only like a hand post. I know only very senior people will understand what is this hand post is. Nowadays, you don't see this hand post. See, hand posts are nothing but when you have 2 or 3 roads joining together a circle, there used to be at the midpoint one post. one wooden or stone post, and the directions are written. Bangalore 21 kilometers, Mysore 120 kilometers. There's a hand direction. That's what your syllabus is doing. But what really teacher needs is the GPS. Now everybody is familiar with the GPS. To start your car, switch on your GPS. The GPS takes over and it tells you go straight, 800 meters, take right, 500 meters, take round, 200 meters, take left. It goes on giving you the direction till you reach your destination. The moment it tells you in 200 meters, your destination is on the left side. The moment you reach there, your destination is reached. Look at it. That lady will not leave you till you reach your destination. That is what the teacher needs. Throughout the course period, they need a direction. So the process of converting your hand post into GPS is known as syllabus analysis in pedagogy. When you analyze the syllabus, you get answer to all the unanswered questions. How deep should I teach? How many hours should I teach? What is the purpose of teaching? There are two types of syllabus analysis. One is time-based method, another one is subject-based method. We generally don't follow subject-based method that is used only for the research purposes. We follow time-based method because all our academic programs are restricted. One semester, 13 weeks. 1 week, 5 lectures. 1 lecture, 50 minutes. Look at it. Everywhere time is there. You can't go and tell your examination section or controller of examination or your university, sir, I have not completed my portion, please postpone the examination. No, exams will be held only on those dates. You can't take, if your lecture is 9 to 10, 10, 5, the next teacher is already there. So it's all time-based. Let's see what is this time-based analysis. See, this is the point at which where you need the knowledge of outcome, knowledge of Bloom's taxonomy, knowledge of pedagogy. All three we put together to develop the course outcomes. In brief, again, Bloom's taxonomy itself is a one-day lecture. I don't have that much of time to explain to you. The Bloom's taxonomy is the 7 levels to which you can teach a subject, learn a subject, evaluate a subject. Each level, as you go up in the hierarchy, it involves more time and it takes a lot of intellectual capability. Knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, evaluation, and creation. Generally, at knowledge and comprehension level, we only give brief concepts about that knowledge. Application level, we go slightly high, analysis, and so on. Just to understand this Bloom's taxonomy, I'll give you one example. See, sometimes the very tough concepts also can be easily understood with the help of examples. And I need to slightly take you away from this concept because your attention span is not more than 45 minutes. I need to give some change. A student comes to me and tells, sir, I have completed my BTech in mechanical engineering with 9 CGPA. I know everything in mechanical engineering. Please listen carefully. This is like a story. I asked her, Shubha, why do you say that you know everything in mechanical engineering? Sir, everything I know, sir. They taught me this, they taught me that, they taught me this, they taught me this, blah, blah, blah. Everything they taught, sir. I know everything in mechanical. Oh, very good. Good, Shubha. All the best. She goes back. After 2 years, she comes back. Sir, I have completed MTech in thermal engineering with 9.4 CGPA. Very good. Sir, I don't know certain things in mechanical engineering, sir. Oh, you told me you know everything in mechanical engineering 2 years back. Now you say that you don't. Sir, in thermal engineering itself, I studied 2 years, sir. Production is there, design is there. There are so many things I don't know, sir. Okay, Shubha, all the best. You go. She comes back after 6 years. Sir, I have completed my PhD in two-stroke engines. I realized that I don't know anything in mechanical engineering, sir. What a statement you are making, Shubha. You said that you know everything. Then you said that you don't know certain thing. Now you are telling that you don't know anything. Sir, in two-stroke engine, one small concept I took, 6 years I did research. I could not find the solution. My guide told me it's enough, you submit thesis and go. In two-stroke engine, one concept, 6 years. So many engines are there. So many thermodynamics is there. So many subjects are, oh, I don't know anything, sir. Look at it. Every time she is upgrading her qualification, she realizes that her knowledge is less. This is what a real value of an education. If today somebody comes and tells that I am PhD in electrical engineering, I know everything in electrical engineering, I'm sorry, I doubt his degree. Now come back to this example and to this Bloom's taxonomy. Why did that Shubha went on changing her statement after a very upgraded degree? Because at undergraduate level, we teach students application comprehension knowledge level. Everything in mechanical engineering it will give. When she goes to post graduation, she was taken to analysis and synthesis level in small portion of mechanical engineering. When she goes to PhD, she evaluated the knowledge that she has learned and she created the new knowledge. Look at it. This is what the concept of Bloom's level is. This is in short. I can take hours together on it. We have no time. And not only that, the Bloom's has also given different words that can be used to indicate to which level the concepts have been taught. Is it at knowledge level, comprehension level, and so on. Now, with this background, let me give you few points how to develop the course outcome. Generally, this is the statement before you write the course outcome. On successful completion of the course, the student shall be able to. The course outcome must always start with a verb. If you see anywhere the course outcome, if the first word is not a verb, then that is not a proper course outcome. The verb selected must depend upon which Bloom's taxonomy that you have used. Do you want to teach this subject to knowledge level? Take the verbs state, define from the Bloom's taxonomy. Do you want to teach this concept to the comprehension level? Describe, explain. Do you want to teach this concept to application level? Apply, solve. Look at it. The verb that you select clearly indicates to which level of Bloom's that you are teaching. The course outcome must have only one verb. This is most important. You cannot combine two verbs in one course outcome. The course outcome must be a culminating ability, not the enabling ability. With respect to a particular topic, you may follow different stages, but what is the end stage that you achieve? That should be the course outcome. For example, if you are going to seventh floor is your culminating ability. What is your enabling ability? First floor, second floor, third floor, fifth floor. You don't have to tell. Because when you say that you are going to seventh floor, it is understood that you are going through that. If you have a course outcome, the student shall be able to define Newton's law, describe Newton's law, apply Newton's law. You have to write the culminating ability. In this, apply Newton's law is the culminating ability. If a student can apply Newton's law, he don't have to say that he defines and describes. One simple example for this is a small story. Once there was a big wooden box. In that, two rats were trapped, one small rat and one big rat. Carpenter was called to take out these rats. Carpenter knows his work, what he is supposed to do. He was coming with his tools. On the way, he met a greatest scientist, Einstein, sitting there. He asked him out of curiosity, Sir, I am going now to solve one problem. One small rat and one big rat is trapped. Now I want to remove. What is the solution? Einstein looked at him and laughed at him. Stupid fellow, you don't know even this much. You drill one small hole, small rat, and one big hole for big rat. Carpenter laughed at him, told, You are a stupid scientist. I will drill only the big hole. From that, the small rat also will come. That is what exactly culminating ability is. If you write the culminating ability with respect to that topic, automatically enabling abilities will come. These are some of the important points that you need to remember when you are developing a course outcome. The course outcome must be clear, unambiguous, and measurable. Now, how do I select the Bloom's level? These are the 4 points that you should consider. Competency of the teacher. Am I competent to teach this subject up to analysis level? Then only you select. Otherwise, don't select. Availability of the time. Yes, I am competent, but can I spend whole my one semester only on teaching one topic? No, I have been given only 4 hours. Can I take within 4 hours to that level? No, reduce the level. Level of the students. To what level I am teaching? Who are the students sitting in front of me? Are they all from IITs? Sorry, many of my students don't know the spelling of Newton's law. So you have to bring down. And what is the purpose of my teaching? Am I teaching to an undergraduate student? Am I teaching to a postgraduate student? Am I teaching to a PhD student? Am I teaching to an industry person? Look at all these 4 things and decide to what Bloom's level you have to teach. Based on that, you have to develop the course outcome. I'll give you a few examples. If your course is physics, topic is Newton's law of motion, Bloom's level is knowledge level, verb to be used is defined, your course outcome will be on successful completion of this course, the student shall be able to define Newton's law. Look at it. This is the syllabus. This is the outcome. The syllabus is like a hand post, outcome is like a GPS. Newton's law of motion. I don't know how deep should I teach. But now I know all that I have to teach is only to develop ability of defining Newton's law. Why? Because this is my outcome. Why did I write this outcome? Because the Bloom's level I have selected. Why did I select this Bloom's level? Because of the 4 criteria that I have shown. See, now teaching becomes so systematic. This is exactly what NEP says. Be clear what outcome you need to develop in the student. Content is same. Now, if you know that all that I need to develop is the definition only, you know what is the time required. So you can use that and prepare your course schedule. Take the second case. Same course, same topic, but I have changed my Bloom's level to comprehension level. Why did I change it? Maybe because of some of these criteria. Competency, availability, level, purpose. Now, second level, what is my verb? Explain. What is my outcome? On successful completion of the course, the student shall be able to explain Newton's law. Look at it. The topic is Newton's law. But in the earlier case, define Newton's law. Now explain Newton's law. Now as a teacher, you know, if I have to develop an ability of explaining the Newton's law, how much time should I spend? Maybe 1 hour is not sufficient. 3 hours. Application level. Student shall be able to apply Newton's law. Look at it. It's the same topic, same course, same, but different Bloom's level, different outcome, and different focus on the teaching. This is the beauty of the course outcomes. Now, quickly, we will go through how this course outcome is mapped into program outcome, because these are all the processes involved in OBE. When which it is implemented, some of the NEP concepts can be properly followed. The program outcomes are the major abilities that are to be developed in the student irrespective of the course, whereas the course outcome is a smallest portion applicable only to that course. Now there is a process called mapping. How do we do it? Select possible program outcome that could be targeted to achieve through your course. Suppose the teacher has been allotted a particular course. You teach managerial economics. Now, as a subject matter expert, you should know through managerial expert course, which of the program outcome I can target. List it. Now, select course outcome one by one. Identify whether this course outcome anyway contributes in developing this program outcome. If yes, you tick. If no, into. Like this, each of the course outcome needs to be integrated to each of the program outcome. A course outcome should get identified with any one of the program outcome at least. It can get mapped into many, but at least one it should. If a course outcome is not getting mapped to any of the program outcome, then that course outcome is completely irrelevant to your program. See, the purpose of teaching is known here. I'll give you one example. One person wants to become Maruti Omni taxi driver. He comes and registers with me. I go on giving him training. One day I will ask him to come and sit in my class. That day I start teaching to him. See, the Maruti Omni car which you are driving now is manufactured by Maruti General Company. And this company has got a market share of 85%. The managing director of the company is selected through this process. That fellow gets flabbergasted. Why sir is telling all these things to me? But I am talking everything about Maruti Omni only. I am not talking about Honda. But yet, he's thinking, instead of telling all these things, the sir should have told me during peak hours in Bangalore, Mysore Road, how should I travel? Where should I park my vehicle? How should I? Because he is very clear, he wants to become a driver. But he cannot get up and ask me, sir, why are you teaching this? Because all his internal marks is with me. He's afraid. Think, my dear friends, how many of our lectures are boring to the students like this? But when you map the COs and POs, you will get, okay, this CO, to get this CO, this content I am teaching. Why this CO is required? Because I need to get that PO. So that mapping helps the teacher to know the relevance of any course or any course outcome. At this point of time, I'll just stop. If any questions are there, few questions, if organizers permits, we can take it.
Sure, sir. Thank you for your session, sir.
I will be concluding after the question answer sessions.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So let me take few questions.
Yeah, participants, if you have any queries, you can raise your hand and we'll enable the mic for you.
So there are no questions. Okay. In case if you develop any doubts on NEP, especially focusing on outcome-based education, and any doubts on outcome-based education, my email ID is available. It is venkataramups1@gmail.com. At any point of time, you can mail me your queries. I'll be very happy to answer your queries. If there are no questions and clarifications, let me come to this. See, what is that I have made an attempt now here is, as I told you, I am an OBE man. I have been advocating outcome-based education right from 2003. 2007 in VIT, we started DOBET accreditation. That time we were all ready with. Somehow I was attracted by the philosophy of OBE And I started implementing it from 2002, no matter whether university or NAC, NBA wanted it or not, to my own courses. For almost 20 years, I have been implementing this OBE concept. So I have developed a lot of passion, and I go around different states and different universities and deliver lecture, motivate faculty member, train them in implementing the OBE concept. So far, I would have trained more than 2,000 faculty members in this. When this concept of NEP came, I was just going through the document. There were a lot of places where NEP is stressing, NEP is focusing on student outcomes. I don't know the context with which the NEP policy makers have written it, but I took it to my advantage and I started looking the entire document of NEP from the OBE lens, as I already told you. So this provides me a lot of scope, lot of uh, uh, opportunity wherein I can still reinforce the OBE concept, taking as an NEP as another tool. Because see, nowadays in society, in all our education, industry, everywhere, we are all more fascinated by these new jargons and new words. NEP, NEP, everywhere, anywhere you go, webinars are conducted on NEP. It's good because people have to be educated. So a little bit of marketing I tried. Like, why not I sell my OBE concept through NEP? Otherwise, honestly speaking, when the organizer asked me, I am not an expert in NEP and I have not looked into all aspects of NEP. Only I am using NEP as one of the powerful tools so that at least I can convince teachers and administrators, please go through OBE, even the NEP also advocates it. That's all my purpose. So whether it is an NEP implementation or OBE implementation, it's not that simple. It needs lot of planning, execution, in delivery, evaluation, in every aspects of our teaching. And teaching learning process is a most complex system. Neither a OBE concept, nor a content concept, nor NBE concept, nor an educational psychology concept, nor a pedagogy concept can tell us this, because this is a highly dynamic one. We are dealing with 60 different minds and different backgrounds they have come. And we teachers are doing a human service and putting them all into same structure, which is a very difficult and unnatural thing. We need to only educate all the students, participants, teachers. We have to involve a lot of industry and stakeholders. I have my own points, of course. It is not to criticize NEP, but some of the aspects of NEP, like academic bank of credit or early exit and all these things, does industry accept this? Is the question. Now, when I'm teaching and I'm training 4 year full, industry is not accepting. And if I just terminate it after 2 credits, 10 credits, 12 credits, will industry accept them? That has to be properly looked into. And the teachers play a very major role. My sincere request to all the academic administrators and management people, they are listening to my lecture, all these new things what we tell, it puts a lot of pressure on the teachers. Teaching is not a simple job. People unfortunately look, it's only 8-hour job, 10 hours, 16 hours per week. What is that they're doing? Please ask those people who comment like that to stand in front of 60 students for 1 hour. They will realize how difficult is that. So teachers are in a tremendous pressure. Look at it now online. See, we were all habituated and going for delivering lecture. Now we are delivering to a computer screen without knowing what is the response of a learner. So teachers have a major role. There's a lot of stress on the teachers. And the teachers cannot be regimented. Teachers have to be convinced. Teachers have to be counseled. And they have to be reinforced with some more benefits and facilities to the teacher. Unless the teachers are treated well, no matter what concepts comes from where, our education system will not include. So my sincere request to all the administrators, academic administrators, once they were also teachers, please look the teachers from the teachers angle. Don't look at from the HR angle or administrator's angle, because it is not like a bank work or some other work which we are doing. We are doing a human service to the society. I think with this, let me conclude. And as I told you, I'm very thankful to the organizers for providing me this opportunity. And I'll be extremely happy if some of my participants respond to me through email. I'll be happy to
Sir,
clarify all
actually,
their
excuse
doubts.
me, sir. Sir, we have people with queries.
Please, please, please.
Yes, participants, if you have any queries, you can please ask.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
I'm Dr. Shantirani from Andhra Pradesh, sir. Sir, it's really an amazing session, sir. You have beautifully explained about COs and their mapping also. But the beauty of COs, many times we are using, but the beauty of COs I understood only today, sir. I am extremely happy and thankful to you, sir. I will never forget your lecture, sir.
Thank you. Thank you
so
for
much.
your compliments, madam. But still, as I told you, this is a 1 full day session. What I have given you only the glimpse. So it needs a thorough discussion, thorough involvement. Let's see in some other occasion somewhere we will meet and I'll tell you.
Surely, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Manjusha Bhosle from Maharashtra. Yes, sir. I have a doubt. Actually, I am from electrical engineering, and in my college there is no branch of electrical engineering. So we used to teach for the first year, and also a new subject is introduced for mechanical engineering, that is electrical machines. So while mapping these CEOs with the PO, I always stuck that everyone say that you can map at least for level 1 for that PO number 7, environment and sustainability.
See, yeah, I got your point. Let me quickly clarify it. See,
Yes,
when you take for example, you are teaching electrical machines. Good that you are also from my branch, so I can give a relevant example. You have one course outcome. On successful completion of the course, the student shall be able to explain the working principle of a DC generator. This is your course outcome. Now, in the process of developing the explanation of working principle of a DC generator, is there any scope that you can give some points related with an environmental aspect that a generating station should look into? If you are doing that, then you can map that. If you cannot do it, then you don't have to map it. There is no mandatory that this course outcome should be mapped to all the program outcome. It is the teacher's decision. Okay?
Yes. Okay. So we should be able to give proper justification, means we have to do it,
mapping.
then we can
Yes.
justify, of course.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other clarifications? If no other clarification, thank you one and all for tolerating me for about 2 hours. Thank you once again, organizer Bhagyashree madam. Thank you. I'll be very happy to receive the feedback if you have a process, and you can mail it to me afterwards.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your elaborated session, giving us insight on most of the important things. Sir, we have a feedback session. We will be sending you the feedback required. Thank you for your participants.
Okay, madam. One more request from my side. If you can provide me the list of participants and their email IDs who participated in my session, so that it will be helpful for me to be in touch with those people.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. We will provide it.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, madam.
Thank you very much.
Yes. The feedback link for the session will be shared on WhatsApp group. Participants, do submit your feedback. Next session will begin exactly at 2:30 p.m. Okay, so thank you all for your participation.